Hey guys, this is Darron. You're about to watch a video from my full stack React Native course on Udemy. The course has a total of 5 projects ranging from beginner to expert. You will learn everything from styling to Redux to Node.js to Mongo Atlas to authentication. I am posting half of each project on YouTube. And if you like what you see, you can view the rest of the course on Udemy. And make sure you use the promo code GeekMODE. Take care. Okay, so before we start building our components, let's go ahead and open our terminal. We're going to go ahead and install prop types. Copy the command npm install -- save prop types at version 15.7.2 and run the command. Okay, now return back to your application. Within your source folder, within your components folder, add the directory button, and then within your button directory, add the file index.js and styles.js. Let's import our prop types. Import React. And import our React Native dependency. We're going to add the component's touchable opacity, which allows us to use our button type as a button, and also import our text component. Let's also import our globals file that we created in the last video. And let's also import our styles, although we have not created it. Our button component is going to be a functional component. So let's type in const button arrow function and export default our button component. Now let's add our touchable opacity component. Actually forgot to add our return function. Now add our touchable opacity within our return and also add our text component. And for now, just add the text, press here. Now, if we save our component, refresh our emulator, we should have the button, press here. Awesome. Let's add props to our component. Const props. We're going to give our component the prop types of button type, because we have three different button types: our confirmation button, our approved button, and our input button. On button press, which will be our functional prop, our button title, which is going to represent the OK or the yes or no values that we added within our globals file, and our button size, because each button will vary in size. Give our button some custom components, some custom styling. And the background color. We're going to add our prop types below. When you're adding your prop types to your component, the first thing you want to do is add your component name, followed by prop types. Set that equal to our object. Within that object, we're going to add our prop types. So we have a button type prop type, which is going to be a number value. I'm going to set that as required. Our button, our on press button prop. Function that is required. And button title. Set that prop type equal to a string. And make sure you have that as required as well. Button size. Give that the prop type of an object. Set that as is required. And our final prop type is going to be our custom styling. Make this prop type an object as well. And we won't make this prop type required because we may add custom functions, custom styling to our button or not. So let's just add that as optional. Let's take a short break from coding and navigate to the React website for prop types. I wanted to briefly go over prop types and why they're important. One of the things that makes JavaScript unique from other programming languages is that it doesn't type check, meaning basically when you create a variable or you're creating kind of props or parameters, you don't have to state whether that proper parameter or that variable is a string or if it's an integer or if it's a function or etc. Using prop types actually allows us to do that. The reason this is important is because it prevents your application from having bugs and just preventing any other potential errors. If you want to learn more about prop types, I recommend going to React's website and actually looking up prop types and learning a little bit more about it. All right, so let's open our terminal. Okay, so let's go back to our application and continue where we left off. We're going to add some functionality to our application. So let's go ahead and add the variable button style. Set it equal to as an array, and then create another variable, button title style. And also set that equal to an array. If our button title, if our button type if our button type is equal to our globals dot button type dot confirmation. And this is what makes creating global so awesome. That you don't, in case you remember the exact string that you actually wrote down, you can have a central location that where you have actually have your colors or you have your text, and this just makes it easier to code and makes your code a lot cleaner. So I highly recommend that you guys actually start using this within your code. Also, think of button styles. We're gonna add button style dot push styles from our button style. We have yet to create this. So let's go ahead. Let's actually go ahead and open up our styles.js and let's create our styles. What you'll see similar to within our app component is that the styles are actually on the same within the same JavaScript file. I think it's a better practice to actually have your styles in a separate file. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to import our style sheet from React Native. We'll also import our globals. Okay, we're going to export our const styles and set that equal to stylesheet.create. Create our object. Let's add our styles. We have our button style, which we're using within our function. We'll also have our button title. So within our button style, we're going to give it a background color. We're going to set that equal to our globals.colors.blue. Also apply justify content. Set that equal to center. And then also our line items. Make its value center as well. Our button title will have the color of globals.colors.white. And our font size will be 30. All right, save that file and go back to your index file within your button folder. And let's continue our function. All right, so button title style. I'm going to push our styles dot button title. If our button type isn't equal to our confirmation button, we have to make the same logic for our approve button. So button type is equal to globals dot button type approved. Then we can go ahead and copy this code below. Else we can copy this as well. Okay, that'll be query later. Okay, so within our touchable opacity component, let's add the style prop. And let's set that equal to button style. And also apply the function on press prop, set it equal to the on button press function. delete press, delete press here, and add our button title. And so our text style equal to button title style. Awesome. Also, we have to add additional logic for our custom styles, and our button size and button background. So if we do decide to use our button size, apply our button style, push our custom, push the width button size dot width. Also our height button size dot height. Awesome. This is going to make our button a lot more dynamic. When we actually use our button component with this function, it allows us to basically create different sizes for each one of our buttons. As you can see within our wireframe, each one of our buttons have a longer width. One has a longer width, one has a shorter width. So this function basically is going to allow us to do that. If our custom button style, if we decide to use that, we grab our button style prop that we're using within our touchable opacity, dot push our custom style. And let me remind you, our custom button style is actually an object. So because of this, we can add a different background color or any other type of React Native styling applied to our button. Okay. And now we're going to create an additional function for button background. Once again, use button style prop dot push. I'm going to give it the background color of button background. So basically, whatever kind of background color that we want for our button, it can be unique. Just apply our button background prop to our button component, and then give it whatever color you like, and then the color will be reflected as such. So we're done with our button component. So let's go ahead and save our application and refresh. Let's navigate to our app.js file. So within our button, we have to add our props. So let's give it the prop button type. The prop on button press. The prop button title. Prop button size. And the prop custom button style. within our button type, let's give it globals. We've got the import globals at the top. Let's go ahead and delete this code right here as well. So import globals. Source.lib.globals. Okay. So yeah, within our button type, globals dot button type dot confirmation. And then for right now, just give this any kind of function. I'll give it just a console log for right now. Button title, globals dot button title dot confirmation. Button size, let's give our button the width of 75% and the height of 10%. I'll make sure you wrap these in quotations. In custom styling, we're going to add some margin to our button components. So give it margin top, give the value of 10, and also border radius. And give that the value of 50. Now, if we save our application, we should get our button. Awesome. Confirmation button is now working. Let's also check our Android emulator. Yeah, our button's working there as well.